Hey guys, what is going on? This is Zip of RageQuitTV, gonna be casting a game between WhiteRa and Liquid TLO. Liquid TLO spawns as the blue Zerg, of course WhiteRa as the red Protoss. This is part of their BO7s that they play so freaking much, and Play Him is actually having a BO11 with these two players on Monday. I think it's at 3 p.m. Eastern. I won't be casting it, but I'm going to try to get the replays and then cast the great games like I have been between these two players. It is a ZVP on Tal'Darim altar. If you're new to watching TLO play Zerg, because, well, he played random back in the beta, then he switched to Terran, then he switched to Zerg, then he switched back to Terran, and then he switched back to Zerg and back to Terran, and now he's back to Zerg. He just flip-flops between the two races. He doesn't kind of race pick like Moro does. If you don't know Moro, he is a very strong Zerg player who doesn't like playing ZVZ and will play Terran instead of Zerg when he goes up against a Zerg just to avoid TVZ. But TLO, he kind of has his own style of Zerg. It is kind of like a mix between Cats and any type of macro Zerg. That means, well, he kind of goes in for a lot of mid-game pressure. Of course, Cats, he is known for all the openers he knows. If there's a way to proxy a hatchery, well, Cats knows and he knows when to do it. If there's a way to abuse the mid-game, well, TLO knows it, and you betcha he will do it. He is the mastermind of builds, and something that TLO possesses that many people don't is just the ability to know what he does not know. And that may sound odd. How can you know something you don't know? I don't know. It's just TLO's thought pattern. He was the one that just randomly was talking about things like, you know what happens if you nerd parasite a larva in ZVZ? You get to build anything on their tech tree. Oh, you know what happens if you nerd parasite an egg? The egg just blows up. I mean, he just thinks of the things he doesn't know and then experiments with them and finds a way to fix it. He doesn't complain about imbalances. He's like, okay, what could I do differently? So if WhiteRa does any type of build that TLO... It's like if WhiteRa does any pressure build or any super macro build, if it's just not safe, TLO is going to know the ins and outs of it, and he will know how to exploit it, and TLO will exploit it. Generally, he exploits it by just getting a lot of units from his base to his opponent's base almost instantaneously. If you've been watching the games, he's used Nidus Worms. He's made a creep highway with Overlords. He's done drops. I mean, what Zerg hasn't done Overlord drops? But TLO, he will use Niduses and actually use them a lot, just bouncing between sides of the Protoss base. And also, he will get Overlord speed without drop and line up Overlords from his base to his opponent's base, dropping creep so his Hydras can get there very quick. Those are just some things what TLO does, but WhiteRa, this man needs no introduction. He is a god Protoss. You may see him, if you've seen him and he doesn't do well, he was just having a bad day. WhiteRa does have bad days, and man, when he has a bad day, does he have a bad day? If you remember last year at DreamHack, there was this invitational where he didn't win a single game, but after that, they had a bunch of show matches for the fans because people wanted to see WhiteRa versus Idra, but it didn't really happen. Well, it did happen in the tournament, but those matches that you wanted to see but you just didn't get to see because it didn't happen, they just had those lined up in show matches. And after losing terribly in the qualifiers in the invitational, the group stages, WhiteRa was indestructible and unbeatable in the show matches. It was a completely different WhiteRa. So, he just had different styles. WhiteRa does see the Lings taking out these rocks, so he knows TLO is going to go for a very fast third or is just prepping for a fast third. Of course, TLO does know about the Forge Fast Expand, and WhiteRa knows that these rocks are taken out. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes for a very fast third. You can see the Cyberkinetic Core is not done. He's already around 200 gas. That's a lot of gas for the Cyberkinetic Core now just finishing. And he will most likely be thrown a Stargate. Yes, Stargate is going down, and that's just based upon the scouting information. This Zealot trying to take out Lings, but TLO's Micro is superb. He only loses one Ling to that Zealot and gonna continue going on these drops. And WhiteRa, he is gonna be probably getting a Void Ray and Phoenix out to deal with this third base. And we'll see what exactly TLO does, and that's one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're playing. It's not only what you scout, it's what your opponent scouts, and it's kind of like that mind game. TLO really wants these rocks down, and his drone is also attacking the destructible rocks, trying to get down as soon as possible. And generally, you want to take your third base around the 5-minute mark, 5 minutes to 5:30, so it gets done before Void Ray gets there. With the rocks going down now, TLO's hatchery isn't going to be thrown down until probably 7:15, 7:20, which means the hatchery will be about halfway when the Void Ray does hit it. It will still be able to get canceled, but TLO will not be able to defend this third base whatsoever. I don't know if he's just kind of doing this as a mind game, saying, yeah, go and cancel this, and I got something in store for you. TLO right now getting layered just before he throws down the expansion, but the Void Ray is going to be on its way right now. TLO has a few lings. He wants to maybe just poke in, see what he sees. Will he see the Stargate? He's going to be going up the ramp. How far away is this Stargate? Is it close enough? And no, it's not. Yes, it is close enough to be spotted. TLO does see that Stargate. The Void Ray is going to be going towards TLO's base. The hatchery, a little below halfway. The Void Ray is going to be getting to it. There's a Phoenix behind this, and the Phoenix is just there so it can take out Queens. There's no way for TLO to defend this. You can't defend a hatchery when it's still building. You need to have the hatchery done, and that's why you want to throw it down about a minute or two. You can see the hatchery has a minute. He threw it down at like 7:30, I said. You want it done around 6:30, and that means you just throw it down between the 5 and 5:30 mark. But TLO just a little bit late with that. He is getting a Hydra Den, which is probably what WhiteRa wants him to do. I mean, this is the standard response to any type of airplay from Protoss, and then Protoss just goes for Colossus, which counters the Hydras. And Zerg is forced to go Roach Hydra Corruptor, which it works kinda, not well. It's one of those things that the Protoss has to make a mistake for it to work. If the Protoss plays his play almost correctly, he's gonna beat Roach Hydra Corruptor any day. And the Queens are going to come. There are 3 Queens, 3 Phoenixes, so the Phoenix won't be lifting anything up, but they will be taking out drones. Another drone does go down. How many workers killed? Just 1, so that is the first drone kill for WhiteRa. He has more Phoenix coming in. He is getting his Robo Bay, Robo Facility right now, and Robo Bay will be next. TLO going to try to take the third base again, but there is a Void Ray just sitting there, and that's not going to happen. Another 2 drones go down. And 3, there's Hydras are chasing the Phoenix, but the Phoenix do get away. The hatch does get canceled. And now the Queens are just going to be walking back. TLO will have some sick creep spread very shortly, and he is getting Ventral Sacks upgrade, but I don't see any Overlord speed, which is a little bit okay. There it goes. This is a little bit timed off, about 30 seconds late. You want to always have Overlord speed started when your Ventral Sack's about a minute away from completion. Of course, this takes about a little over 2 minutes. This takes 1 minute. So just get your Sacks upgrade. Look at a minute in the game clock. Once a minute has passed, get your speed upgrade. They will finish at the same time. And now TLO is going to be moving out with a lot of his Hydras, but his Overlord speed not done quite yet. And now this Phoenix is going to be taking out the Overlords. It looks like TLO may miss his timing as the Robo Bay just about done. But those Overlords are so slow that Overlord speed is now completed. Overlords are on their way. This push has been delayed by about 30 seconds. But it looks like he will make it out before a Colossus, so he didn't miss his window. He is hitting this just perfectly. And everything is going to be going up into these Overlords. The Hydra's getting in the Overlords as well. 106 supply to 106 supply going into this army. It's looking like WhiteRa has a slightly larger army. I believe both are at 1-0 upgrades. But, I mean, Hydra Ling does very well against Stalkers. The Colossus is on the way out. TLO going to be dropping everything. Keep in mind, a lot of that army supply is within the Phoenix and Void Rays, which aren't going to be doing too much. TLO is going to try to get more Hydras in this Overlords and try to get them up, making a small mistake. And now the Hydras are going, but he doesn't have a good concave. There's Hydras sitting in the back just attacking his Phoenix. They need to go on the Stalkers. Actually, all the Phoenix go down. But now the Hydra's taking so long to get in the concave. You see every Stalker firing, while the Hydra's not firing. They're going on those edges. Transfuse is going down the Hydra. It looks like there's more Stalkers than Hydras right now. 11 Hydras in production. But the Probes, more Probes than TLO. So WhiteRa sitting on a better econ defends this. TLO did not do much damage going this loss tab. TLO lost 1,500 more than WhiteRa thus far. So TLO sitting in a horrible spot. The food count is even. TLO doesn't have a third base. WhiteRa has his third base up. I don't know what TLO can do now. That push just did not work. Very nice idea by TLO, and ooh, I love that creep tumor. This gives him vision of this entire portion of the base. WhiteRa, of course, may just get an observer out and take that out. But until these creep tumors are taken out, TLO will have complete vision here, so he will know if he can do a drop or not, if he knows the army is in position. So that could be playing a very huge role, as TLO is getting a lot of lings in these overlords. He doesn't have a baneling's nest, so he cannot do any baneling bombs on probe lines. Unfortunately, that would have been so cool. WhiteRa just going to be missing these overlords, and TLO sending a lot of overlords over. But only 2 of them have some lings in them. 17 Hydras, 19 lings to 2 Colossus, 16 Stalkers. It's not looking that great for TLO, but he can pull the comeback. The overlords are going to be letting loose all these lings. They're going to go into the mineral line. But Zealots are not going to be whooped in. This is going to definitely screw with the AI, as you see TLO's lings going to attack those Zealots. And he has to queue up attacks on the probe. That Zealot does go down, but more Zealots are there. These lings have killed like 1 or 2 probes at most. Another one does go down. But no, overall, not too much damage done. WhiteRa is moving out, it looks like. But TLO does have 16, 17 roaches on the way. He's got to get them here as soon as possible. Where are his rallies? It looks like they are rallied. Oh, right here. While the Colossus is going to be walking up this ramp, it looks like those roaches have to get there in time. Oh my god, these Hydras may just get taken out. A few roaches do get there, but that does not look like 17. That looks like 6 to me. The Hydras trying to split up, but this Colossus just doing so much damage. Hydras get up close and personal to the Colossus, but WhiteRa just micros that back, and those Hydras going to be taken out. Now all the roaches do come in just a little bit too late. And there goes the GG by TLO. Oh, man. That just did not work out for him. And I want to go back really fast because let's look at what was happening when he wasn't getting that overload speed. See what distracted him. I know the game's over. It was kind of a short game, so just looking at something really quick. Let's see. When does he start this? When's his lair finished? So his lair is done, but he hasn't started Ventral Sack. Oh no, he does start it. I just want to see how long he waited to start this Ventral Sacks, because I feel like this was really late. So the pylon does go down. His lair hasn't started yet. The Stargate. And then I want to see what he was dealing with. The units were coming in. That lair has started. Okay, the lair is going to finish at about 8:20. There we go. Lair has finished 8:24. He has enough to start his Ventral Sacks, and he actually queues it up on this one hatchery. And that was lucky I was on that. So, Ventral Sacks is queued up here, which could definitely screw over TLO. He wanted to start Ventral Sacks at that one layer. Did he start that via a hotkey? Let's go in TLO's viewpoint. WhiteRa, Game of Drones.
The Hive Cluster is under attack.
I haven't seen the switch just yet. Yeah, I don't know how he started that. I mean, his switch's hotkey is a little bit too quick to easily find out. But looking at what he is seeing during all this,
The Hive Cluster is under attack.
it looks like it's just this Void Ray and general airplay that throws TLO a little bit off good. If that did hit, let's see, it started when the Queen was, what, 20, 30 seconds? So, that hit earlier. It may have done more damage. I don't know exactly, but it looks like that is why that Ventral Sack started, was finishing so late and screwed up TLO from going for that speed on the Overlords as soon as possible. Hopefully you enjoyed that cast. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.